It began with a shadow. Not a shadow cast by light, but a shadow cast upon film. In 1945, the world changed forever, but most of humanity didn't know it yet. The United States government had detonated the first atomic bomb, the Trinity test, in the deserts of New Mexico. It was a top-secret project, hidden behind layers of classification and silence. But thousands of miles away in Rochester, New York, a private company figured it out. Kodak, the photography giant, suddenly had a crisis. Their sensitive X-ray film was being ruined. It was fogging up inside the packaging, rendering it useless. Their physicist, Julian Webb, investigated the cause and traced it back to the cardboard packaging. The straw used to make that cardboard had been grown in the Midwest, washed by river water. Webb realized that the river water had been contaminated by a new, mysterious type of radioactive dust falling from the sky. Kodak had accidentally discovered nuclear fallout before the public even knew what an atomic bomb was. It was the first warning that when we unleash the power of the atom, it doesn't stay where we put it. It enters the water, it enters the soil, and eventually it enters us. That discovery marked the dawn of the atomic age, a terrified era defined by the Cold War arms race. For decades, global superpowers detonated thousands of nuclear devices, some underground, some in the atmosphere. They released isotopes like strontium-90 and cesium-137, distinctive fingerprints of humanity's ability to destroy itself. We told ourselves we could control this fire, but history is a graveyard of that arrogance. In 1986, the name Chernobyl became synonymous with invisible death. A reactor design flaw compounded by human error blew the lid off the core. It spewed a plume of radioactive debris that circled the globe. It wasn't just an explosion, it was a poisoning. The land around Pripyat remains a ghost world today, a place where the trees turned red and the soil itself became an enemy. Then in 2011, nature humbled our technology in Japan. The Tohoku earthquake and tsunami slammed into the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Meltdowns ensued, but unlike Chernobyl, the primary fear here wasn't just the air, it was the water. Millions of gallons of radioactive water leaking into the Pacific Ocean, raising terrifying questions about the marine life we rely on for food. This brings the horror home. We tend to think of radiation as something that happens over there, in exclusion zones or test sites. But the terrifying reality of the nuclear age is that the fallout doesn't vanish. It migrates. Radionuclides settle on grass. Cows eat the grass. The radiation concentrates in their milk. It falls on the oceans and bioaccumulates in the fish. In the modern world, agencies like the FDA maintain a constant silent vigil over our food supply. They issue alerts and advisories monitoring imported foods from areas known to have lax regulations or recent contamination events. We have seen advisories regarding seafood, like frozen shrimp from specific international firms, pulled from distribution lines. While many recalls are for pathogens like salmonella, the infrastructure to test for radiation is more critical than ever. The concern is that man-made isotopes, the refuse of our nuclear history, can end up on your dinner plate. The idea that an imported bag of shrimp or a crate of produce could carry the silent signature of a nuclear accident is a uniquely modern anxiety. However, if you were to take a Geiger counter to your kitchen right now, it would click. And it wouldn't be because of a bomb testing site in Nevada or a meltdown in Japan. There is a widespread misconception that radioactivity itself is unnatural, that it is purely a creation of mad scientists and weapons programs. We have learned to fear the word radiation. But according to the EPA, radioactivity is as natural as the air we breathe. In fact, if you want to find a source of radiation, you don't need to look at a nuclear reactor. You just need to look at a banana. This is where the science gets fascinating. Bananas are rich in potassium, and a tiny fraction of all potassium in the universe is the isotope potassium-40. It is naturally radioactive. Every time you eat a banana, you are ingesting a small amount of radiation. It's not just fruit. Brazil nuts are famous for containing high levels of radium-226 and radium-228. drawn up by the tree's massive root systems from the soil. Lima beans, carrots, potatoes, and red meat, they all carry a faint radioactive signature. Does this mean your pantry is a nuclear waste dump? No. The truth is, you are radioactive. Your body contains potassium, carbon, and other elements that have radioactive isotopes. As you sit here listening to this, your own body is undergoing roughly 4,000 radioactive disintegrations every single second. You are emitting radiation into the room around you. The EPA and food safety scientists distinguish clearly between natural background radiation and contamination. The human body has evolved over millions of years to handle potassium-40. We have a homeostatic mechanism that regulates the amount of potassium in our system. If you eat 100 bananas, your body doesn't hoard the radiation, it processes it. This natural radioactivity is distinct from the heavy man-made isotopes like plutonium or strontium-90 that mimic calcium and lodge themselves in our bones. Those are the killers. Those are the legacy of the arms race. So where does that leave us? We must remain vigilant against the errors of our past, the leaking reactors and the weapons tests that stained our atmosphere. We must support the agencies that scan our imported food for the fingerprints of disaster. But we must also stop fearing the word radiation itself. It is the heat of the sun. It is the soil beneath our feet. It is the potassium in our blood. We are children of a radioactive universe, living in a delicate balance between the energy that sustains life and the energy that can end it.